its nuclear weapons, and they're concerned about the president's negotiating with foreign leaders, with 34% saying he's strong, 59% saying he's weak. And 65% of Americans favor the U.S. taking military action to keep Iran from getting nuclear weapons, with 81% of Republicans favoring the use of force, 54% of Democrats, and 53% of independents. That came as Iran's foreign minister sounded very cautious about a potential deal, with talks continuing today in Switzerland with Secretary of State John Kerry.
We will try.
How far are you hoping to go?
We will go as far as we can.
Kerry pushed back on critics by saying the purpose of the talks is to get the right deal, not just any deal.
One that can withstand scrutiny, the scrutiny of experts on nuclear affairs all around the world, the scrutiny of other governments, the scrutiny of people, the scrutiny of the Congress of the United States.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is trying to fast-track legislation to give Congress an up or down vote, while Democrat Bob Menendez said at AIPAC he's willing to stand up to the president to give Congress that power. He railed against McConnell, trying to ram the bill through before Kerry has even finished negotiating.
I'm more than disappointed. I'm pretty outraged.
Now, Josh Earnest said today the president will veto the bill whether it's fast track or comes down the road later. That raises questions about whether the president's committed to actually giving Congress real oversight here. Important because Iran's foreign minister said today to NBC News a deal may be imminent. Brett?
Ed Henry live on the North Lawn. Ed, thank you. Right now, Iraqi militia are fighting alongside Iraqi soldiers in an attempt to drive ISIS terrorists out of Tikrit. That raises the question of how much influence is too much for a Tehran regime that is considered as much or more a threat than ISIS itself. Here's Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen.
100 miles north of Baghdad, the Iraqi government has massed 30,000 troops to encircle and retake Tikrit, the Sunni ancestral home of Saddam Hussein, from the control of ISIS. But two-thirds of those troops are Shiite militiamen, reporting to Major General Qasem Soleimani, commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps' Quds Force. Twice, the U.S. has designated Soleimani a terrorist, and he is thought responsible for up to 20% of U.S. casualties in Iraq. Now he is operating near the front lines in the Iraqi theater.
If you had told me a year ago that Soleimani, the head of the Revolutionary Guard, was leading an attack against Saddam Hussein's hometown, with us in the region doing nothing about it, I wouldn't have believed it.
The march on Tikrit poses a major test for the resurgent Iraqi forces and anticipates what may prove a tougher battle for Mosul, 120 miles further north.
If ISIS loses like we would hope they would and they're able to reclaim Tikrit, that's a good thing and a bad thing for ISIS, but clearly this is a setback to the United States as well, because this is Iranian influence in the first major battle of the counteroffensive.
Iranian casualty data indicate Tehran has deployed more troops to Syria, but has dispatched higher-level Quds Force commanders to Iraq to oversee the Shiite militia.
We have one terrorist organization which is helping the Iraqi government get rid of another terrorist organization. The Iranian objective is to maintain Iraq in a constant and permanent state of crisis, where different Shia groups would be more dependent on Iran than Iran being dependent on them.
One fear is that if and when Tikrit falls, the Shia fighters will seek to avenge a massacre of 1,700 Shiite troops that ISIS fighters committed last year, a scenario that led the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to tell lawmakers today, if this becomes an excuse to ethnic cleanse, then our campaign has a problem. Brett?
James.